Joy and relief have given way to exasperation. That's how the Washington Post described the federal government's vaccination effort. And it only led to more exasperation because during the first month of 2021, Moderna reduced its supply, and Pfizer at one point sent no vaccines. That's not an exaggeration. There were 0 new vaccines at one point in January.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Proud to be Canadian explains the federal government's 10 vaccine blunders. As we round the corner on January 2021, where does Canada's vaccine rollout stand? At less than 2.5% of the population, which amounts to essentially a rounding error. The federal government has tried to put some of the blame on the provinces, and the provinces have similarly tried to point out that the federal government's procurement problem is, well, the problem. So what happened? Let's find out. Back in March and April of last year, the federal government failed to take this seriously and spent weeks virtue signaling about their efforts to stop COVID while flights came into Canadian airports with no testing being done. Meanwhile, America began Operation Warp Speed and closed off travel from China. When private enterprise in Canada went to the federal government to develop a vaccine in-house, Trudeau passed over them. And on top of that, the federal government introduced aggressive and unnecessary regulatory barriers to pharmaceutical development, which many patient advocacy groups said would stifle healthcare development in Canada. After bypassing a Canadian vaccine solution, the feds went to a firm partially run by the Chinese Communist government, CanSino, which bewildered experts on both sides of the political spectrum in Canada. Within days of announcing this, the federal government learned that China blocked shipments of the trial vaccine, but the federal government hid this from the public for months. Prime Minister Trudeau ramped up federal spending to apocalyptic levels, which experts now agree was money spent on fruitless endeavors which won't help Canadians combat COVID-19, much less recover from it. The CanSino vaccine endeavor failed, so the feds had to quickly run to other companies like Pfizer and Moderna to beg for vaccine supply. This left Canadians vulnerable to worldwide shortages, which have now occurred. And then we learned from the procurement minister that Justin delayed speaking to the CEO of Pfizer for weeks. To try and smooth things over, the Fed sent a spokesperson on national TV to explain the current vaccine status, during which he contradicted his own government's plans. Trudeau said he is taking care of Canadians during this pandemic, but frankly, he and his government are doing a terrible job. Lives are at stake.